Well folks, I've got the camera's crouching behind the, as I am, the breakwater here, the groin, because it's blowing westerly. They gave up to 6, it's not blowing to 6, I'm hoping with the sun going down it's going to drop a little bit. The sea will be running westerly, the lines are all pulling to the left, not with the current, just with the wind on it, so I hope it's not going to drag it closer into the beach, and that's where the rollover of the weed is, you know, and that bags up on the line, slides down on a windy day, slides down, it's curved like this, goes like this in a big curve. So if the weed catches up here and the lead's back here, the weed will blow up here and then gradually slide round, 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 and it builds up in the end of that bow. The grip lead's, you say, there, and eventually it might pop the grip lead out and roll it into more weed. It's certainly hustling. I'm going to have to put the old beach shelter up because it's going to be A, cold, B, noisy, but I'm hoping I'm going to get, it's 10 past 4 already, it's going to be dark in a minute, the sunset's beautiful tonight, albeit windy. They said there's going to be some sub-zeros coming in. I don't think I'll get that with this wind, so you'll have to bear with me tonight. It's one of those days, just catch anything, or one of those days, 4 hours I've got. High tide is about 8:15ish, I think. I will not be staying late, I don't think. Half a pound of ragworm, sardines, some salted ragworm that's frozen that I've had for a large number of years, so I shall attempt to pour those on the hook. They've gone out first, and I'm hoping just to save the better ragworm, which are a bit soft this time of year. It's winter. I think they might spawn and they go a bit soft and squishy, and it's not great. But what do you do? What do you do? Fishermen with no bait catch nothing. Right, let's get this beach shelter rigged up. I'm hoping it's a slightly rising tide. You can tell by the moon up there. It's not the circle split in two, which is, you know, the neap tides, small tides. They are now growing. They're getting bigger each day. I was here 2 days ago, and I can see the weed lines further up. So I'm going to get pushed up. The wind might make a bit of an allowance and push a bit more water up. So I guess I'm going to put my beach shelter up here somewhere. Right, let's get that up. Oh dear. Well, there's something quite cosy sitting inside there. Obviously to film, to talk, I've got to put the camera in there and I have to come out in the cold, which is not very nice, but it's the way it is. No bites I can see yet, but I really wouldn't expect anything until it gets dark. And even then it might be a bit later because the moon is well up. Bright moon might make it a bit tougher, I have to say. Now I'm just looking at the roseate sky across the Isle of Wight there, with a sort of familiarness, the colour of the jet trails that are going into Heathrow. Pollution, basically. It might be lovely, pretty pink jet trails, but it's still pollution. Pink pollution. I'm going to give those baits because they're my basic billy baits that have gone out there, sort of the chances, I'm going to call it the chances type of bait, sardine, fillet, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm going to have to move those back in a minute. I'm hoping from here, I'll move the rods across here a bit more. Hopefully I won't have to move the bivvy with the waves, it depends when he comes up a high. But anyhow, let's see. So one of those rods is bent over, a little spinning one. We're going to check that one. Bear with me. Yeah, that's just like a build-up of weed, which is my concern, that the weed blows along the lines I mentioned earlier, builds up, the rods fall right over, but I'm going to give you another 10 minutes or so before I bring it in. So when it's like this in the winter, it's sort of tempting to bring the rods right back up here and have the lines going all the way down about 30 yards, 40 yards to the water. But people come, there might be a jogger running along the beach, there could be somebody running their dog along there, and a dog and braid is not going to end well, as you can imagine. 50-pound braid and a Rottweiler is tangled up. It's not, I'm not going to be the one snipping it out, that's for sure. So I'm moving back slowly. As it gets darker, then I will bring them back here. A lot of the time I fish, I save my batteries in my head torch, and I might get the lantern going later if I've got enough fuel in it. And it starts, and that'll give me, like, that lets people know I'm here fishing. But because I fish totally in the dark a lot, people almost stumble on me, they don't know I'm here, you see. It's not because I'm doing stealth fishing, it's because I'm too tight to let the batteries, I'm always worried the batteries are going to run out on the head torch and I won't be able to see my way back to the car or something. Well folks, what I said happened with the spinning rod has indeed happened. As you can see, a nice bundle of weed I just about got in without breaking off. I hope it's not going to be a night of that. But you can see what I mean, how the wind blows it down the line, bunches up and then pulls the rod out, pulls the griplet out. Always be careful when you're stripping through weed. Don't forget there's hooks in there. Well, lo and behold, I haven't got a camera floodlight put on, guys. In amongst the weed is a nice whiting. I can only show you on this until I get myself set up, because I didn't expect anything, to be honest. There you go. Nice whiting. So what did he take? He's taken the salted ragworm. That cheeky monkey. Well, there you go. Success in every packet when you come on the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. It ain't over till it's over. Let's get this guy back. Another bait up with some stuff, and I'll get the proper floodlight. Might even get the telly light going, the old anchor light. Guys, bear with me. I've got the camera light, floodlight going, and let's see if I can now get the anchor light going. In fairness, it's so bright, the moon up there, I barely need the light, but I want the moon on this side, because without it, I can make out the rods, but I can't see the tips because they're silhouetted against the light. Basically, the moon's on the wrong side of my beach here. It should be up there behind me, shining that way, and I wouldn't need any light. I've had some bangs from whiting as well, so that's good news. Well, let's see if I can get this pressure lamp going. Well, you'd think it was the same fish, but it is actually a different one. Still a whiting, still nice to catch, folks. I mean, God, I've got my cooker with me, it's just lucky that he won't fit in the saucepan. But I'm so pleased, after all that work with those logs, and this rig just unhooks. They don't seem to throat it. It's really good. Well impressed. Well, that's some more whiting, guys. Not loads, just a few more. I'm kind of amazed that there's no bass. I really thought when it's really rough like this, generally you get a bass. The last few times I've fished here, it's been the ebb tide down. Well, I don't want to stay that late. I've got to stay, hang on till 11 o'clock, midnight. I'll be home by 1 or 2 in the morning. That won't be happening, I can assure you. Look at that light, that is absolutely light. Look, whole beach up, like a whole beach up. Generally, I have what's called a shepherd's crook. I jam that, bring it up and a shield at the back so that you don't see the light in your eyes from here. They come with a hood. I actually made a metal thing that goes round the back, up on a pole, so it shines all the light that way. It's like putting your hand over the lens, shading your eye. And it sends a huge amount of light there. I've not had to pump it out yet. I don't know, 45 minutes of me going, I haven't pumped it once. A bit concerned about the tide. I thought it was about 8:15 was high water. It's just gone 6:30 and it appears to be still coming. I need to speak to that guy. What's his name? Arthur J. Canute. He's an expert apparently at absolutely forbidding the sea to come any farther. I can speak to him. I haven't got his number, I don't think. Oh no, that's right. No, he died. Yeah, I think he drowned. I may, joking apart, have to move stuff. I'm sure I'm always doing something wrong with the tide, but as I say, looking at the moon is bigger from a couple of nights ago. Look at all those little charts where you see the tide tables coming up, and it has gone up, I don't know, not even half a metre, you know, that much I suppose. With this wind pushing it, might be a little bit extra slop over the top. If it gets on the lamp, it's cold water on hot glass at that heat will explode. Glass will be gone. Oh, I'll tell you what I've got. It's new. We're not selling them, you know, we don't sell this stuff. One of these. Wifey got it in the charity shop, brand new. It's made by Thermos, you know, they're just a company that makes stuff like glass. But this one, she said, you can put food in. So, have you guys ever tried that with food, like a stew or something like that in these things? They keep hot. I preheated it with boiling water. You know, gave it 5-10 minutes to heat up, and I put minestrone soup in there. And this one's interesting. When you take the lid off, in there, it's got a little spoon for having your food with, like a little folding spoon that opens up, which is quite handy. We thought that was a novelty. So, never been used before. The thing I find, once you put soup in a flask, your next cup of tea tastes absolutely foul. It tastes of vegetable soup. And if you put tea in a soup flask, your next soup tastes of Tetley's tea bags. Or builder's tea, I like that builder's tea. Right, another thing while we're waiting for bite people, what's your favourite tea bag? Because there's some, I think it's called builder's tea. We had it in the cafe and we asked us, that's really nice tea. She said, yeah, it's called builder's tea. I don't think you buy it in the shop. I think you get it from those commercial outlets, you know, where people go, shopkeepers go to buy in bulk, cafes. Have you heard of it? Builder's tea. going to say I've seen loads of bites because I haven't. It's been so rough, and now I'm up high. The rod tops are banging around. I've got weed on the line. It's just pot luck if I do see one. I need what's called a pull down, where it goes right down and a bigger fish holds it down. That would be nice. They're not rattling away like I thought they would. Doing okay, chipping away, but they go a bit more nuts. Another guy told me put a flat stone on top of there. You can heat pies up in a metal tray on those, definitely those lamps. He said if you heat the stone up, you can put that in your pocket or in your hands, you know, when it's warm, and put another stone on to be warming up, like a hand warmer in the winter. I never thought of that. I think it's a good idea. But there's all round stones here. I've got to look. Well, I can't make a round stone flat. Even I can't do that. Arthur J, can you? Could, if you were still around. Rain coming down from the north, cold rain, going to be freezing tomorrow. And the moon's starting to haze over now. You see the clouds racing across the face of the moon now. Hopefully I can squeeze another couple of hours and maybe a couple, 3 more fish out. You just got to beware of slack line. There's always slack lines like this. If the rod comes straight, it could just be loose, or it could be a big fish has picked up the grip, they've broken it now. And you've got a belly of line, you've got to get on those because they're generally always a big fish. Yeah, you'll see me doing that quite a lot actually, always going up, always checking the tension on the line, because years ago I used to drive up to Norfolk, places like Trimmingham, Waxham, this time of year coming up, December. I fish off the shore there through the night for the cod. Yeah, don't laugh. Not one cod, loads of cod. So I'm constantly aware, because a lot of the bites up there were slack liners, drop back lines, where the cod might be 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds, will come along, pick your bait up, generally black lugworm, pull away, trip the lead, and you'd see the line fall slack. You can wind like crazy and tighten up on the fish. Good old days, eh? Anybody remember that? Waxham, Trimmingham, all those places. Up around Graeme Pier, fishing off there for cod. Come on, fish. Away with you, water, away! Come no further! Lest you be cast adrift like a boat or something. I command thee. That's a bigger one. He's not getting any commanding. Oopsie. Just lapping up here and it's sweeping from there across. It's right here now, look. Right in front of me. Don't need a big wave coming up. It's a camera bag, right? Bites are gone completely. There's a big one. Well, it's not a big one, it's just getting closer. It's definitely a wet one, that's for sure. Well, still going, people. They come back a little bit on the bite. I think it's about high water now. There's some pretty nice sized white in there. Now look, I can't get him in the lens. That one's definitely an eater, but I'm going to let him go. And again, if you look at this rig, he's just jaw hooked because he can't swallow the bait off Phil with this plastic bead and boom there. We're still going here. Let's put the light on for you. Small one this time. Now this is a size years ago we used to use for cod fishing. You put a big bait like this out on a boat and you catch cod, or indeed you'd put a small hook above a big hook. Don't bait the big hook, just bait the small hook. When this guy comes along and gets hooked on the small hook, along comes the cod, he eats him and the big hook as well. So there we are. Whoa, calm down, you're going back. Very quiet at the moment though. Strange. No bass, just whiting all the way. I can't complain, they tend to have come on a little bit now. I've got about 6 or 8 worms left. All the little teeth there on them as well. So they can shred a lot of the baits, fish baits as well. Well, that was a really enjoyable little session on what was in fact a wild and windy night. Well, I'm not going to be catching anything sat at home, am I? Got to be out there, got to be in it to win it. Also went up to Mike's woodland to do a little bit of timber work. It's still good being out in the open, even up there. Bit hard work though. Well people, hard to believe, but I'm actually on the way to a fishing trip and I want to bring Mike's wheelbarrow back. I had to do the tyre on the front and I'm going to have a little go, whiz a couple of logs up for him and have a go on the sawing horse. I might do a bit of chopping and I was going to have a cook up on the beach, but the time is always against me. So by the time I get this done, I'll probably go over to his storage hut. There's a little fireplace I built there years ago, a couple of years ago. I think I'll have a cook up there and then I can get down the beach fishing. So, bit of work to do first. Very, very windy, not the greatest direction. It's westerly, but hey ho, it is what it is. The logs don't saw and chop themselves, do they? Let's get started. So basically, huge heap here. I'm just going to keep logging and logging, which we just got like a battery chainsaw. So I burned the 2 batteries out. Saw up what I can of the big ones for him. He'll have to split those with a big axe. If I get time, I'll chop a few smaller ones up because we want to get all this. It's all ash, a little bit of beech, all dead stuff that's fallen over. Got to get it off the ground. And there's a mega piece down there. I think I ought to fire through that one first. I'm not sure I'll be able to lift it. They would have to do a 2-man job on that one. Going to be windy, wind in the mic, can't be helped. But we've cleared up most of this. But there's one chunky one I've had to go at, then the battery died on me, you can see there. I think I'll get right through that, to be honest, while the battery saw's in good order. And of course in the cold weather no batteries last as long as they do in the warm. So the idea is to saw these down. Won't be happening today because I'm going fishing. We're going to leave those, going to do some of the smaller ones till the batteries die on me, and the short ones, which mostly bits of hazel left over, dead wood, we can store up here, dry them out, and Mike can use them for his fires, you know, camp stuff. So that's the reason I'm here really, and then he'll have to chop some of these up. I might get round to axing a few up, but you know, can only do so much in an hour. Right, let's nip these off. Got the name on it there, anybody can see that in the sunshine. So I've got to get cracking now. I'm going to have a cook up over on the storage cabin, have something to eat, and that way I can get straight down, get the worms on the beach, cast out and blank. You can't beat a bit of woodland work to get the blood flowing, the fresh air going through your lungs. Quite a long walk back though. Anyway, let's pop over to Grant. He's going to tell us a little bit, for beginners anyway, about that world of fishing lines. Oh man, it's a minefield out there. Check it out.
Right, hi Graeme, we're going to talk about lines again today. So it's a big question. There's so many lines out there this day and age, you don't know what to buy. So million different brands, different sizes, so you'll get confused to hell. So we've got some by Daiwa, Drennan, Berkeley's another big name you'll know, or one of the other newer brands out there, Guru, so that's very popular. So we'll just have a talk about, so one of the main ones being...
Show him as a customer, he's over there. As a customer's got a bad throat, he's got a bad throat, yeah.
So vicious dog. So Berkeley Trilene, so not everyone's cup of tea now, because a lot of lines are thinner now. Yes. They're pre-stretched, so they're thinner but higher breaking strains, whereas this is a traditional line, will stretch, have plenty of stretch in it, which for me, if you're carp fishing around snags, things like that, I like a bit more give, a bit more stretch and a bit more play in it. So
you think the pre-stretched stuff might pop, you know?
Might pop. So if I was fishing something pre-stretched, as is like braid, if you like, less stretch, I want a softer rod.
Yes.
To account for not having the stretch as a cushion, but I don't want some fish to hit a slack line and the hook can turn and pull. So to me, as you've got a bit of stretch, it's more likely to stay on there. So, but everyone's got a different sort of flavour for lines, if you like. So we do purpose floating lines, which are designed for float fishing, so they will stay up along the surface of the water rather than running and sinking.
And the reason for that is what? So they can pick up on a strike?
To pick up on a strike, so you're not pulling it, as everyone's probably found when you're beginner fishing. You might have let your line not sink it, keep it direct to your float, and you get a strike and it goes off that way and back to the line. So to keep it nice and straight across the top, especially more for like trotting on the rivers, things like that. Absolutely perfect line for that. We know one of the traditional lines that's been out there forever and a day. This is a good all-round mono which you could use for float fishing, your feeder fishing, anything like that. It's older than Graeme, believe it or not, that brand, but it's very good. Or there was other stuff out there years ago, silk cast and all sorts of others, and they used to like coil and sit on top of the water. Whereas all of this line now, it's very low memory, so it doesn't coil up off the spool. It's very supple, as you can tell. Look, so that's straight off the spool. I give it one pull, and it hangs pretty straight. That's not bad.
Limp. We call it a limp line.
Nice limp line. So,
is there a benefit between having, say, a soft line or a rigid line? What I call a stiffer line?
I think it all depends where you're fishing, to be fair. So I like having the softer lines just for my general float fishing. You'll get some people like this one's called a fluorocarbon. So fluorocarbon's a coating on there, which it's like a wire. Very stiff, but it does take on the dirt and stuff like that. So you have to clean it. It really does.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
So though that looks nice and clear now, if I went and fished one of my local waters, it's very silty. By the time you finish fishing, your line always it's really dirty.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's absolutely filthy.
And that used to be fluoro. Used to be the fish can't see it.
The fish can't see it, so it's lower visibility at certain depths. But if I'm totally honest, I don't think it made much of a difference. It won't make much of a difference.
I didn't know it picked up dirt, I must admit.
Yeah, so most mono, but you'll notice it on clear lines more than anything. Clear lines you'll see it on more than anything.
Now if beginners are starting, is there a benefit between having a clear line and or a coloured line?
I think it's more of a personal preference. I'm probably one that I'm not as fussed on it. I will use sort of coloured monos. I use clear monos. You've got hook lengths as well. It's just an absolute minefield. You'll see feeder lines. So look, we'll open this one. I think this one's a coloured line.
So that would sink.
It's meant to sink. So you will find most mono does take on water.
Yes.
And what it does when it takes on water, it will sink. So these seem to take on water faster, which means they sink faster. So most people don't realise mono will take water on. So,
and therefore feeder specifically for quiver tipping.
Quiver tipping, so it's just a thicker mono that does sink faster. Float fishing line for float fishing, or you got your good old we were talking about in the middle, which is your favourite. It's the Maxima.
It's a good idea that floating on a river though, Mark, because if you want to mend the line, as I say, to the float, there's nothing worse than it starts sinking between the tip and the float.
You've got to try
and you try and mend the line, and it's always in a spot where you're going to get the bite, and you drag the float.
You drag it out, and you don't get it quite right.
So with the floating line, you can pick it up cleanly.
Pick it up cleanly, strike to the fish. So you've got bulk spools, as you can see here. So that one's got 1,500 yards on it, a 10-pound line. Majority of bulk spools now, which I quite like, so Guru do the Pulse line and the Pulse Pro. Floating line, a feeder line, they reckon's better for feeder fishing. Again, sinks quicker. These are lower diameters, so what have we got here? We've got 5.3 pounds, and that's 0.18. Let's pick out. So
they're more basic, aren't they?
So that's 0.17 at £4. So they're not too bad on the size, and you'll get some that are really thin. I will find one off the shelf for you in a second. So I'm going to go grab one now because I'll show it to you. Right, so here's a couple of others I was just saying about. So pre-stretched lines are much thinner. So this is a Suffix line of a standard line that they do, £10 at 0.28. Okay, then you've got Suffix Advanced 0.28. But its breaking strain is £15.
Oh, way up!
So it's £5 more, and it's just as thin as that one, which is well, I can't even see it on the spool.
Oh, it's fine. I can just see on the. Is that the tag in there or not? No, that's a piece of plastic, Graeme. Go to Specsavers. I can see how fine it is on there.
We've had it. There we go.
That is very, very fine, isn't it? For 15.
So £15. You probably can't even see that on the camera, can you?
You won't see it. I can see it, and even my eyes. Yeah, that is tiny.
Very thin. But for me, I like to have a bit of stretch and a bit more play in them. I've got friends who swear by using Suffolks and the thinner lines, fluorocarbons as main lines, but you will find most people don't use a fluorocarbon main line because it's too stiff, too wiry, but they will use a fluorocarbon hook length.
Yes, yeah.
I like a fluoro hook length, stiffer, meant to be sort of less visible to the fish.
And that's the bit the fish will be looking at, the last little bit.
So
yeah.
that is the bit I'll be more concerned about, the end piece that we're looking at. So you do some other, so a lot of guys make up hook lengths with this, or there's another one here by Drennan, which is called Tough X.
Yep.
And basically that's just another little spool for making hook lengths up. So 4 pounds is 0.15, so it's about a standard size mono. Because that one's £10 at 0.25, so it's not much, and we're not talking millimetres, we're talking point of a millimetre. Yeah, because we're 0.25.
So basically, Grant, I can see there, and they can see it's just taken a random selection off. If we just pan over, you can see there's an absolute shelf full of it over there.
Yeah, and then every stand has their own brand of line now.
So the best thing I feel is they come in, see you, any beginners, anybody want to start up, you can run through them, ask them what they're fishing for.
We do,
and you can advise them.
And we advise them, and we are very generous in here. If you're buying line from me, bring your reel, and we'll always spool your reel up for you.
The right way too, because they can be done the wrong way, can't
it can be done the wrong way, but yeah, we will spool your line up too.
Well, thanks for watching this episode. We'll see you in the next one. Trust me, I've got quite a few backs up there ready for you. Stay safe out there, people, for the next 2024, and see what comes this year. Hopefully, some more fish.